Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Taylor. Welcome to Spitball. And I'm here with my good buddy
Kyle Amundsen.
And once again, we went back home to the 9th Street Social Club to do some social distancing.
Indeed.
Yeah. So it was fun last week. You got to come down here and hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
And, this week we were gonna have on our buddy, my buddy, Jeremy Doyle, who is a local videographer, filmmaker. But with everything going on, we figured it's probably smart to not do the gathering, right?
Sure.
This makes sense.
Yeah, we're trying to minimize that social contact and stuff.
So you might be stuck with just Kyle and I for a little while, but that's okay because we have lots of shit to talk about.
We do.
More Kyle than me because I gave Kyle a homework assignment, and
yes,
and then I failed to do my portion of it, which is kind of typical.
These things happen. There's a lot of overlap here anyway, I feel like.
Oh, I'm sure that there is. I've been busier in a one-legged man and an ass kicking. I've been busier in a one-legged man with a 10-pecker billy goat. Everybody's talking about how they have so much time and everything, and I mean, obviously, I have more time on my hands, but I just fill that shit right up, and I've been doing all sorts of crazy projects and cleaning out the garage and doing stuff like that. So it's just I'm like, man, like everybody's talking about all the crazy shows they're watching, and I'm like, Jesus. I watched a couple episodes of The Tiger King, and that's about the extent of it.
Which, and I posted a thing on Facebook about this. Like, I think it's because I grew up where I did that show doesn't seem that crazy to me.
Did you have you watched it all?
I watched it. I think I'm like 2 episodes in or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm like 4.
It was kind of failing to capture me, really, just because I was like this dude, like Joe Exotic or whatever, just is like a
that's
like a dude that I grew up with,
like the guy down the street.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying it, but you're right. I mean, I didn't think it was that crazy until they start getting in. I mean, you're only 2 episodes in. It gets a little crazier.
Okay.
I mean, there's like a murder plot and everything. So I mean, it gets pretty fucked up. So
yeah, I've been because it's not like I haven't been watching stuff because I've been watching lots of stuff.
Yeah. I don't think this thing is the greatest thing in the world or anything. I mean, it's not as captivating as like Don't Fuck with Cats. I mean, that thing was like, whoa, this is crazy.
That got me.
But yeah, it's been kind of fun. But other than that, I haven't been watching anything. I haven't been doing anything. So I haven't even watched the last episode of Picard. Have you?
No, I'm like 3 behind.
Yeah, I have one. I have the season finale left, and there's spoilers all over, so I have to keep on like not looking at it. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
I am caught up on the new Clone Wars. But they're so short. So
I found a new cop show that I've been watching called The Deputy. I've been watching it on Hulu, watching the shit out of it. That and a couple of other things. Just like Christina and I will start watching something together, and then like one of us will lose interest. Like usually she'll like be like,
yeah,
she'll bail out. And I'm like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna watch the rest of this by myself.
Does she just like go in the kitchen and sand something then, or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Usually.
But
you gotta get some fucking headphones so you can just be like, all right.
And then I finished Altered Carbon.
Yeah, not worth it. That's what I heard. I was reading something, like my phone just like knows what I would be interested in, like whatever. So you know how it like has like your news things. So it was something in there that was saying fans say second season Altered Carbon biggest piece of shit ever made or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm on there, which is really a bummer. I hope they go back to the basics and they can make episode 3 decent if they ever season 3
done,
or they're going to just be done, which is a bummer because the fucking books are so good, man. There was so much great material. Why not just stick with the book?
They just dropped the fucking ball.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So cool. So you got a big old list there. What do you got on your list?
I do. Before we get to that, I was reminded of this today. So we're seeing lots of stuff on the news, seeing lots of stuff on social media about stuff on the news. And there's a concept that I think a lot of people aren't familiar with, that a lot of, that news agencies have always done. It's called stock footage or stock images.
Right.
Like if you're writing a story, you might not always have the picture of this fucking forest fire or whatever. You know, like, hey, or maybe you don't need to send some. Maybe if there's already like a picture of a forest fire, people might get the fucking idea. Right. If you put a picture of a forest fire
instead of going out and taking the photograph. I mean, I don't anymore, but when I was doing a lot more video production stuff, I had a subscription to a stock video footage archive, and I paid, $30 a month, and I could use all of these like short little stock videos.
And when you use them, did you feel like you were trying to trick people?
No, it was just using stock footage. If I, like, for example, I was doing this one about food deserts, so I found some fucking picture of poor kids eating hamburgers, and
And that's what you chose to try to trick people with, Matt?
Yes. I mean, not to say that, actually, was I trying to trick them? No, but I was trying to pull the heartstrings. You're trying to, show images, but I'm not going to go and fucking get children to eat hamburgers and film that shit. That's a lot of work, man. I didn't get paid that much for that job. And so stock footage is,
it's just a thing.
It's a thing, yeah. It's a little shitty if you use stock footage in a movie, and people do. That's a little shitty. It's a little disingenuous. But when you're doing a commercial or you're doing a news story, stock footage is is the standard.
Unless you're a conspiracy theorist,
right?
Then they're trying to fool you. They're trying to pull the fucking wool over your eyes. So there's the one that I keep seeing is a picture from some video. They apparently they used a picture of an ER.
Okay.
Like an ER in Italy, and they used the same picture when talking about an ER in New York.
Okay.
So naturally, that's them being that's them trying to fool people, trying to trick them, contributing to this hoax that is the coronavirus. And people they keep fucking posting it. I keep seeing the same dumb shit like that over and over, and I'm like, fuck people,
Right.
It's just what, it's look it up. Look up stock video or stock footage or whatever, or just believe what Matt just told you, or any fucking person with an IQ over fucking 30 would tell you.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
I
don't know if it actually measured that high. Yeah. I think one of the issues, and I don't want to talk too much about this epidemic, this pandemic that we're in, because it's what anybody's talking about. But something that I heard today that I thought was interesting, and is that I understand why people are getting kind of frustrated because nobody's really getting sick yet. People are, but you don't. It's not like I don't know 7 people who have a confirmed case of the coronavirus in my close personal circle, so it doesn't seem to affect me. And the thing is that whenever you have something that has the potential for exponential growth, right? That's the way it works. So the analogy is that, let's say that you have a pond, and on the pond there is one lily pad. And there is going to become exponential growth, right? So tomorrow there's going to be how many lily pads?
11.
3, right? And then the next day there's going to be 9, right? How long will it take? Let's say that in 60 days the entire lake will be covered in lily pads. How long will it take before half the lake is covered in lily pads? 59 days. So at 59 days, half the lake is covered in lily pads. And on day 60, the entire lake is covered in lily pads. Do you get it? So that's the way exponential growth works. You're not going to see a lot of cases until you see a lot of cases, right? And what we're trying to do is dampen down and stretch out how long that 60 days is going to take.
And, and people knew that, like from the get-go, people knew that conspiracy theorists and stuff, and just all kinds of stupid people were going to be like, well, look, this not that many people died, or it
Right.
didn't grow that fast. We didn't need to take those precautions after all. No.
Right.
Taking the precautions were what caused it not to grow that fast.
Right.
Or not as many people die as was possible had we not taken the precautions and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. So So person says, I don't know anybody sick, and the epidemiologist says, right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome. That's the point. Yeah. There's a lot of that out there. I have been seeing a lot of people, post stuff about like, this is a big, government's conspiracy, and they're just trying to take all of our rights away, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm thinking that the government really wouldn't want to like put the brakes on the entire economic system, just to like fuck with your rights. But
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Hey.
I want to talk about happy shit, Kyle.
Yeah. So, what are you gonna do when you're locked up at home?
Throw them overboard and drag them on the anchor. Throw them overboard. What was that? What you asked? What are we doing with the drunken sailor? Oh,
Or
I don't
that.
know. Whichever. Yeah, A or B.
Some sea shanties for
we
you.
we have just done away with the there will be no singing rule on this podcast. By the way,
Our next episode will be all singing.
it's going to be a
musical.
musical travesty.
So, like on also on Facebook, I've seen people making lists and stuff. Like what your favorite, or recommendation, looking for recommendations and stuff on like movies and video and stuff. We've got you covered.
Well, Kyle has you covered.
I've got you covered.
So I challenged Kyle, and on our website, I want to make a recommendations section, so you can go there and you can click on recommendations, and it'll be Kyle's recommendations for the top 5 series that television series of all time, and then Matt's top 5. So I said, he was saying he was bored and running out of shit to do, and I said, well, you have a fucking homework assignment. Make a list of your top 5 television series.
Which I did. I also have
I still haven't. But whatever.
We'll take care of mine today. It's just a short list. So I've got my 5 best favorite of all time. I also have 5 honorary mention shows.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to start with those.
Okay, and these are television series.
Yes.
Okay, so it has to. So kind of like the rules are, it has to have at least one season, and it has to be like a reoccurring thing. It can't be like a, Lonesome Dove.
Yeah,
that was a
miniseries.
miniseries. So these are television. The Lonesome Dove miniseries was actually really fucking good. But
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I thought about putting that on there, but I was like, oh no.
No, I would have called
Didn't
you on
quite
that.
qualify.
Yep.
In fact, anything that was like one season,
Okay.
I put on that I wanted to put on here. I put in my honorary mention list.
So that would be that's interesting because when I was thinking about it as well, it's like, yeah, that was great, but it was so short, and then they didn't do another one.
Yeah, and Lonesome Dove, that was probably the same length as like Godless or whatever, but they did movie length episodes. So they do like 90 minutes, and then a half hour for commercials.
What is that one?
Lonesome Dove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, instead of like hour episodes or whatever. And so I like took that out of the criteria, those are too long.
It's weird because remember, did you ever watch the Sherlock Holmes? That was the BBC one. That was
yes.
I watched.
That almost made my list.
Oh, really?
Really
I liked it. I actually ended up kind of quitting, and part of the reason was this because the fucking episodes were too goddamn long.
Yeah, movie length as well.
Yeah, and well, some of them were shorter, and some of them were really long. Like the BBC's just like, fuck it, we don't give a shit. We'll just make it
Which
as long
was
as
kind
it
of
needs to make.
refreshing.
Which is refreshing, until you're like, it's okay. Should we watch another one? Oh, it is 12:30. Okay, no, it's fucking 2:45. So, yeah. So I actually did. I probably should go back to that one because I really liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed those a lot.
Yeah.
Well cast and everything. Really super well written.
Okay, so what are these honorable mentions?
Okay. I'm going to put my glasses on.
Ooh, he's taking the headphones off and everything. This is serious. Thank you again, Rob and Aaron, for providing us with the refreshments today.
Sooner or later, we're going to need you to provide us with some Rob when we
Yeah.
get him on the fucking show.
Yeah, I'll get infected for Rob. That's fine. Yeah.
I'll get infected by Rob again. So, speaking of Sherlock Holmes, honorary mention, first one on there is Elementary.
Okay. I don't know anything about it.
With, Lucy Liu
Okay,
and,
yep.
fuck.
Oh,
He's
you did
got
a good job with this. You were supposed to have like all that information.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Elementary is the Sherlock Holmes, another Sherlock Holmes story. It's contemporary. Basically, Sherlock Holmes, like Watson is Lucy Liu's character.
Okay.
And
That's an interesting female Watson.
yes, and she's a sober companion. She was a former doctor. Well,
Okay.
she's a doctor, I guess, but no longer practicing, and now she's a sober companion. And Sherlock Holmes was just getting out of rehab. He's a rich kid that worked for Scotland, worked with Scotland Yard.
Was this on Sci-Fi?
No.
Okay,
This is this is a major network, like ABC or something like that. And it was on for several seasons, and I found it. I just loved the goddamn show. It was wonderful.
When we do end up getting to doing the list on there, I promise you that there will be like links to where you can get this stuff. If it's not streamable, we'll give you links to the Amazon, whatever. But,
Well, see, the guy that plays Holmes, it just drives me nuts that I can't ever remember his name because he's got one of those. He's got like two first names, like a hillbilly.
oh, okay.
Just like
Like
Billy
Billy
Bob
Bob?
Thornton. Yeah. And Johnny Lee Miller or something like that.
Okay.
That might be it. That might be right. You never know. Probably wrong. But he was also in Hackers with Angelina Jolie and stuff. In
Yeah.
fact, I think he was married to Angelina Jolie for a little while, for a minute.
I got nothing. Brad Pitt.
But no, not him. Yeah, so the show is great. They're in New York, not London. He's moved to the U.S. and stuff. So just the relationship that they forge and stuff like that. And I think there's 7 or 8 seasons worth.
Okay.
And it's really, really smart, really funny.
Elementary. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's a great show. I also put Firefly on here, even though Firefly deserves to be on the regular list, but it was only on for a season.
Yeah. Again, as we've talked about many times, I get kicked out of the geek club every time I bring it up. But I fucking tried Firefly, and I just didn't grok it.
Sam didn't care for it either.
Yeah, I did see Serenity, the movie, prior to seeing Firefly, and I was fucking pissed when I watched the movie because I was like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, that was a movie that was purely made for Firefly
Yeah,
fans.
as a follow-up to the series.
Now, I am reading a series of books right now that is written by a guy who, says he loved Firefly and was so pissed when it, ended that he just decided to write these books because it's not Firefly, but it's in the spirit of Firefly, and they're fucking great. It's the Oceans, Deep Ocean series. There's a million books, but it's 67 hours of audiobook for one credit. It's a bargain. But yeah, cool. Yeah,
But yeah,
so
Firefly. Nathan Fillion, Marina Baccarin.
Yeah, that one's yours though. So
Yeah. Not trying to kill anybody. But yeah, Firefly, great sci-fi show. Was on the Sci-Fi Channel. Got canceled. It's a travesty. People are still nerds are still bitching about it. I belong to one of those groups where they just still bitch about it. These things happen. Also, I mentioned Godless.
yeah,
Godless, I've mentioned many times on here.
I finally started my own profile on our Netflix account, And I actually messaged you the other night. What the fuck is the name of that like Western show? And so now I have a queue that I'm never going to get to. But yeah, so I have a queue. But Godless is in there on the top. That is one that I want. But
that's pretty spectacular. But it's only one season, so that went to the honorable mention list. Okay, Archer.
Pretty fantastic.
Another one that not everybody loves, but most everybody loves.
So I do feel like they ran out of juice.
Yes, like a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you watch that.
But like just, so I'm like, and maybe it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard for athletes to do, I know. Man, it's like, dude, you've been knocked out 7 times in a row. It's time to fucking stop.
Like we've talked
Jens
about before,
Palmer,
the fucking
I
manufacturer Inspirato, the fucking whole like.
But you're getting paid, and it's like whatever. But yeah, when you run out of juice, I think you should just stop. But Archer, like the first, I don't even know how many seasons, but 4 or 5.
First at least 5 seasons are golden.
Fucking so funny.
The first episode is so fucking funny.
So I always say I can't watch comedies alone, right? But not Archer.
Yeah,
Archer's
I've watched
no
plenty
problem,
of Archer alone,
right? Because it is a comedy, but it's so fucking smart and funny and crazy.
The references and shit.
I just love it. Yeah, actually, I don't even think I'd want to watch it with somebody else. Like to me, it's like it's something that I like, and it's like it's something I really enjoyed watching alone. I loved it. Yeah, Archer's great, and it's a cartoon if you don't know, but that just seems to make it better.
Yeah, it does nothing to diminish how funny or fucking wrong that show is.
Yeah, and it's got really good voice actors.
Oh, the best.
Yep, really good. Yeah, isn't Archer doing some the actor that plays Archer? Isn't he doing like some commercials now? I swear to God, I heard his voice on some commercials.
I've heard that guy. That voice pops up all over.
It's such a distinctive Archer voice, too.
Well, I couldn't even watch Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah, I heard that
because I was like, no, he talks and I hear Archer.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the premise of the show is that it's kind of like James Bond. He's like in this agency that kind of like whatever, but he's a like raging alcoholic.
He's kind of dumb.
He's super dumb, but he's also like really
like well read and stuff like that.
He's really well read, and he's really good at his job too.
Yeah,
like, he's just he's just such a man. He's like the epitome of manliness. Like it's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Archer,
and then the girl Aisha Tyler.
Yes,
I can't remember her character's name. I can only remember her name, but she's awesome. And in there, she's very well in real life. She's really beautiful too. But like as a character, she's like really beautiful, hot, whatever. And they're just merciless and making fun of her how she's got big hands, her man hands and shit. Yeah, it just cracks. It really is a fucking funny show. And his like boner over Burt Reynolds. There's so much great about that.
He's got some celebrity crushes and stuff, and Meowschwitz.
I mean,
there's just so many.
Okay, so watching Joe Exotic or Tiger King or whatever. Every time a fucking ocelot comes on, I'm like, that's an ocelot. That's an ocelot. I love ocelots. Yeah, that's where the Kyle's shirt comes from. The
the Whore Island ocelots.
Yeah,
that's art from Archer.
Yeah. He has an Auschwitz. He has an ocelot, and he comes out of there, and he's all bloody, and he goes, Jesus, it's like Meowschwitz in there.
I might rewatch that.
Oh, I've watched Archer more than once. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've watched it. I think I've only watched it twice, though. And it's good for,
it's one of those that, like, I would be like, I'd throw on when I'm like, I need a little something before I go to bed, because it's short, and you could, already half in the bag. It's like, I'll join Archer. His mom cracks me up too.
Oh man, she's the best. My favorite scene from the first episode was like when she's being held at gunpoint. They've got the little standoff.
Fuck,
The,
yeah.
the thought of me laying dead in the gutter gives you an erection?
Yeah.
Semi. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very good.
So check out Archer.
Yeah.
That's a strong recommendation if you haven't seen it. My last honorary mention is Hill Street Blues.
Never seen an episode.
No, really?
Yep.
That's from way back in the day. That's a cop show from the 80s. And it was good. It was real good.
Yeah, I don't even think I had television back then. I mean, like, seriously, I went through a
my
long
folks
period of
watched
time
it.
without it.
And and then of course,
Does it hold up?
huh?
Does it hold up? Have you gone back to look at it?
I haven't.
That's interesting because, well, we'll talk a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point here. But, like, that's the thing. It's like some shows just don't hold up. Moonlighting, for example, right? Do you remember Moonlighting?
I remember Moonlight.
Bruce Willis and that chick.
Shit.
She was super, like, at the time, like, super, like, famous. And I saw an episode of that a while ago, and I was like, what the fuck? I used to think this show was cool, and it's just so bad. It's just not good, So, like, certain things hold up, certain things don't. So.
Yeah, because there's there are a couple of other old shows on here.
So those were your honorable mentions.
Yes.
Not the top 5, but ones you should definitely check out.
those are my honorable mentions. Elementary, Firefly, Archer, Godless, and Hill Street Blues. Now,
It's funny because I can see Kyle's list, and he is taking those out of order.
Yes.
Continually.
For a reason.
Yeah.
So here's my top 5.
Top 5.
Okay. First one, another animated show.
This is number 1, like the one that...
These are in no particular order.
Okay. No particular order.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good idea.
But this is another animated show.
Okay.
Not as popular as Archer, but equally as funny, especially if you're in our age group. And do you remember Johnny Quest?
Like only a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
So if you're our age and you watch like Saturday morning cartoons, you'll love the Venture Brothers.
So, yes, and again, I've never seen it.
You're missing out.
We had like a 2-hour conversation about it, though.
Yes.
On the way back from someplace. Where were we? Because that was where we found the Muhammad Ali cartoon.
Oh, that was on our way back from Brujitsu.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But so like the other like our friend that is also a huge Venture Brothers fan is Tharg.
Yeah,
Tharg
he's
also
mentioned it
loves
a
the Venture
lot.
Brothers.
Yeah.
So that I recommend it. I really recommend it.
And that's on what?
That was on Comedy Central.
Okay, and so
Or was
it's
it the Cartoon
available.
Network? No, Cartoon
Doesn't
Network.
matter, but it's available somewhere.
It was like an Adult Swim. If you're familiar with Adult Swim, you're probably familiar with the Venture Brothers. And I think you can get that on. I think you can watch that on Amazon, I believe. Okay. But I'll we'll take a look. And we'll get these on the website.
Definitely.
But Venture Brothers is great. It spoofs the old cartoons and like superhero cartoons and like Nick Fury and shit like that, and a lot of that good old stuff.
Did you ever watch the Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
Did you watch all that?
Yeah, I mean, well, not recently. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw.
Oh, right. But remember, we found him. And
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't go back.
I never did go back and rewatch
because
that.
when we were talking about the Venture Brothers, somehow we got into Muhammad Ali cartoon, and there is I think it's just one season of an actual Muhammad Ali like cartoon, and it's available on fucking YouTube, and you can just watch it on YouTube, and all of the episodes are on there. But Muhammad Ali plays Muhammad Ali, and he's like kind of a superhero, and it's fucking great. I only watched a little bit of it, but I
can't believe I forgot to watch that.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali. Yeah, pretty awesome.
Okay, so that was the Venture Brothers. One more animated.
Oh yeah, and you even had you had an issue with fucking Clone Wars.
Yeah.
At first.
I don't even like animated shit, really. But, then there's Archer, Venture Brothers, and, of course, South Park.
Maybe the most important show ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd put it up there. That show is fucking brilliant.
And it's really weird to say important. But it is important.
It's because like Stone and Parker have that amazing, really fucking specific genius for disguising like relevant social commentary
right.
as dick and fart jokes.
Right. And sometimes like really just dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is really adolescent. But then you get done with the show and you're like, fuck me.
Right.
Look what they just did. You know, those guys are fucking amazing.
So I have always wanted to, and have not, wanted to make a South Park required reading list. You know, like if you want to, you know, have anything to do with me, you need to watch these 12 episodes of South Park or else we have nothing to talk about. And, but I've never gotten around to doing it. But there are some like really fucking like important South Parks. You know, like you have to watch them. But there's one that's very like poignant to today. And it's so fucking great. But it was an episode where this Indian casino or this Indian tribe was going to like put a casino up above South Park, and they were going to run a road through the center of South Park, right? Do you remember that one?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, and there's so many of them that sometimes, you know, like you can bring up any, and people be like, God damn, I don't know, because there's like hundreds and hundreds of them. But of course, like everybody's all up in arms and they don't want him to do it, so the fucking the Indians send a bunch of SARS infested blankets to the to the town of South Park. And everybody gets sick, you know. They're all like, and they're like, you know, I only have a 98.7% chance of making it through this. And then Kyle has to go on a vision quest to find the answer of how to like solve this thing. And he
to be Kyle Brutzlowski, not me.
Oh yeah, not you, yeah, Jew Kyle. And he goes on a vision quest. So he goes to like some trailer and like huffs paint with this fucking like meth head, and it's so fucking good. And and again, just incredibly poignant. So the one other episode that'll stick in my head for all of my days is it's the global warming episode or whatever. But South Park is gonna become underwater and whatever. But there's this part where Cartman, who is like this big fat kind of mean kid, and Kyle are on this bridge and there's a fire or whatever, and Cartman blocks Kyle's way and he's like, I won't let you pass. And Kyle's like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, give me the Jew gold. And Kyle goes, God damn, there is no such thing. I don't have fucking Jew gold. And Kyle's like, and Cartman's like, give me the Jew gold. And Kyle's like, God damn it, I've told you how many times I gotta tell you there's no Jew gold. And Cartman goes, give me the Jew gold. And fucking Kyle goes, God damn it. And he fucking gives him, yes, he's like got a little necklace full of gold. It's like, so like, I guess the whole like thing about South Park is that nothing is sacred.
No. And those guys can fuck with whoever they want.
They don't even take shit for it.
No.
Plus, they have the best deal ever with Comedy Central. Like, they don't have seasons. They don't have to, like, you know, most places that do have like a contract with somebody. You know, you're like, oh, you got to produce like 12 episodes a year, blah, 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 blah. They're like, yeah, it doesn't work for us. So basically, Comedy Central just lets them release an episode whenever they get it done. They can do whatever they want. If they don't have anything to talk about, they don't do them. They just play reruns. There's so much of it. It's just crazy. Honestly, though, I haven't watched it. I probably haven't watched South Park in about 4 years.
Yeah, I'm way behind.
And it's not that it, like...
It didn't lose it. Those guys don't lose a step. No.
It's just... There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing, and I don't know if we'll get through all 5. South Park saved the Eclectic Cafe.
How did that happen?
So the Eclectic Cafe opened in 1998, right? Yeah, or 99. I can't quite remember. I can't remember when anyway, about a year before South Park opened up. And in the beginning we were doing okay, but we were kind of struggling for a while. And I I went through a divorce and whatever, and there was kind of like a period of time early on in the Eclectic Cafe where we were like seriously like thinking we should just shutter it up, and then I heard about this show, the South Park show, and at the time we didn't have like even a television in the place, or whatever, and but everybody was talking about it and wanted to see it. Now this is back in the day where like nobody had cable. Like that was a really, that was a rarity, right? And so I just said, "Fuck it, all right, like let's do it. Let's watch South Park." So I got cable. I went out and bought the biggest TV I could buy, I think it was it was probably like a 40-inch
Right,
TV
at that time, yeah.
And I mean it was like 5 feet deep. It was just it was huge, super heavy. I built a little like thing and up above the bar, and I put this TV up there, and we just advertised that we were going to do South Park night with free cheesy poofs, and we. So in the early episodes of South Park, Cartman was all about his cheesy poofs, and so I went to Walmart and bought these big bags of fucking like generic cheesy poofs, put them out on the bar, and we would watch South Park every Wednesday night at 9:00. And it was fucking standing room only, and then we'd watch it again at midnight, and it was standing room only. And there are so many people that like that say like, I came to the Eclectic Cafe for the first time because of this fucking South Park night thing, and I'd never seen it before or whatever, and it was something else. So I don't know if it saved it, but it was a big part of the original Eclectic Cafe.
And the show, amazing.
Yep.
I mean, I feel good about that being on the list.
When I was thinking about it, I was thinking about how that, as far as impact goes, I think it was a show. It's a show that made a big impact, on.
Well, and like I said, those guys, like they can fuck with whoever they want.
Nothing is sacred.
They really, and they don't spare.
Okay.
They will fucking brutalize you on their show. Like it's
one more.
Good.
Actually, there's a couple other ones that you should watch. There was an episode where they were going to change the South Park flag. Okay, and the South Park flag was like 7 white people in a circle, like stick figures, hanging a black person. And the kids were all pissed off that they were going to change this flag. And it goes back and forth. And then finally, Chef, who is a black guy, figures out like that. He's like asking the kids, he's like, "Children, I don't understand. Why do you want this to stay? This is racist." And the kids are like, "What? No, it's just that. Why do you not want to fucking have this?" This thing that happened on like this is part of what happened. Why wouldn't you want to have this on the flag? They were pissed that they were going to change the violence of it, right? And then Chef was all like, "Oh, I get it, children. You don't even see the color of the people." So they did end up changing the South Park flag to like a yellow, a blue, a green, a purple, an orange person hanging a black person. So it was just like that. It's so great. And then one more. Only gonna do one more. Another one is the this is a tough one, but the faggot episode.
Oh man. No, we never call a gay person a fag. We're talking about those fags over there.
Well, it's faggot too, which is so bad. But they were like, so they were, every time these people would drive through South Park on their Harleys, they would yell faggot at the people. God, it's hard to say that word. I hate that fucking word. And they were getting in trouble, and they ended up going into court or whatever. And the judge says, "Well, boys, I'm a lesbian," and the kids are like, "Okay, all right." And she's like, "So does that make me a faggot?" And Kyle goes, "I don't know. Do you got a Harley?" So good,
man.
So many good ones.
Do you remember when they killed off Chef?
Well, yeah, because they did an episode about
the Super Adventure Team.
Well,
which is that group of pedophiles that he.
The thing is he was a
Scientologist.
Scientologist, and they did an episode about Scientology. which eclipses their episode about the Mormons. Remember that? John Smith, dum dum dum. Every time they would talk, like John Smith would be like, "And I found these tablets and whatever," and then the angels in the background would be going, "Dum dum dum dum." But they did this really interesting episode about Scientology, and Chef was a Scientologist, and so
Isaac Hayes left the show.
Left the show, and but I don't really remember when they killed him off. I remember him being a robot kind of thing, and they took voice clips of him and were like,
yeah,
you know,
that was before the episode where they finally killed him off, and the Super Adventure Team was this group of pedophiles or whatever that had recruited him and stuff, and I mean, they just slammed the shit out of the Scientologists.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they're like, we're not mad at our friend, we're just mad at his silly little club, you know, and just God, and the shit that the Tom Cruise stuff, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like when Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet, like, man,
yeah. Yeah, they did some great shit, and they still do.
Best.
They still do. I really enjoy their movies as well. But you know, basketball. I used to always say,
love basketball.
I used to always say that, and I don't anymore. But I used to always say Orgasmo.
Orgasmo was funny.
Was a litmus test. Like if I was going to date somebody, I'd watch Orgasmo with them and watch them watch Orgasmo, and then I would know if we were going to be compatible. Because if you didn't think that shit was funny, there was something wrong with you. So. Though it hasn't aged. I mean, it's still funny, but it's not. I mean, like, you know, it's not as funny.
Yeah, and not basketball funny. Basketball really. I thought basketball was the better of the two.
Yeah. You know, they each had their place. Basketball was pretty fucking amazing. Jenny McCarthy polishing knobs.
the trailer hitch and shit.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we got Venture Brothers, we got South Park. This one we probably don't need to talk about very much because we've beat this one to death. The Newsroom.
Oh yeah, greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's if there was a number one, Newsroom might very well be the number one. Now you can get that on Amazon.
Yeah, for free. Well, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free.
And you know, I was just telling somebody about this show the other day, and one thing that, like, if you're trying to tell someone about the Newsroom, just reference the clip from the first episode.
Yeah.
You know, why is America the greatest country in the world?
Yep.
And they'll know what you're talking about, and hopefully they'll watch the show because man, I think everybody should have to watch the show.
It really is a great show. Yep. Yeah, and we have beat it to death, but yep, I love it. And I've yet to like introduce anybody to it who hasn't really loved it.
Yeah.
You know, Meta was a little resistant to wanting to watch it, and like I was like,
as was Christine, but holy shit, she became a rabid fan. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll sanitize this afterward.
So there's the Newsroom. We just talked about Northern Exposure the other day.
Mm-hmm. But Northern Exposure, really, truly one of the greatest.
Man, so good. Again, several seasons.
Yeah, like
broad appeal.
Seasons.
Like, yep. I mean, I love it. I loved it then. My folks loved it. Everybody loved it. It was a fucking.
But you haven't got to watch it since back then.
No.
I'm gonna track down those DVDs.
Sure, you will.
No, I swear to God, because like. I believe Chip Borkenhagen has them right now, but or Aaron Lewis. But okay, so at the time I was with Jesse Borkenhagen, and I was like, you know, you in a relationship, you're watching shit, and back then there wasn't nearly the amount to stream, and we were just talking about old shows we liked or I liked. I was quite a bit older than her. And I was like, yeah, I remember really liking Northern Exposure. And she goes, Northern Exposure? I think I watched that when I was a little kid, and with my folks. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to. So I ended up finding it on Amazon, and I bought like the fucking $85 like complete a collector's edition set that came in like a fucking like fake lamb or sheepskin like jacket kind of thing. And we watched it, And it was so fucking good again.
Northern Exposure is about the actor wasn't a big name or anything like that.
Joel Fleischman.
Joel Fleischman is the doctor that gets sent to
so he ends up it's
Sicily, Alaska.
Yeah, so he gets his schooling paid for by the state of Alaska to become a doctor, and then he has to go to Alaska and serve a term to pay his school back.
Open up a practice,
and he
in this
thinks he's going
tiny
to
little
Anchorage.
Town.
Well, he originally in the very first episode, he thinks he's gonna get. It's supposed to be Anchorage, but shit changes, and he ends up basically going to Sicily, Alaska, which is a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, like that you gotta like fly into, and you gotta have Maggie. I don't remember Maggie's last
O'Connell.
name. Oh, Maggie O'Connell. Fuck. It's weird that it's weird we could come up with their names from that far back.
Dude.
Even though I did watch that.
Meanwhile, like how many
and this was still,
I've forgotten
it's been
fucking
a decade
everything.
ago that I watched it.
Yeah.
Again,
And I was
loved it.
And I think I was a teenager when I watched that show.
And then so that's the premise of the story, but the characters are so great and
Sicily
so
is
in-depth.
full of, like a lot of small towns, Sicily's full of a weird bunch of ridiculous characters.
Yeah. So who was saying that you were there, Chris?
Oh, that was an ex-girlfriend of mine.
That is like the
greatest
compliment of all time.
Ugh.
Chris is kind of this really attractive, charismatic fucking like dude who lives up there. Just
He's
a
the
free
radio
spirit.
guy.
But he runs the local Sicily radio station. And I remember my good buddy Carl Desmond. Do you remember Carl Desmond?
No.
He was a year older than me, but we were good friends in high school and all. Yeah, we're still friends to this day. He lives out in California now, but he's the crazy motherfucker who came up with the idea of Sunshine Kitchen, Moonshine Lounge, and developed that whole like logo concept. And I'm like, God damn it, we're not in California, Carl. It's a little crazy for this fucking town. Anyway, but he was always like, that's what I want to do with my life is be a Chris. I just want to have a radio station, whatever. And in some ways, I feel like that's what this is kind of fulfilled for me as my childhood dream of being a Chris. Just being able to like sit there and talk to people. But we fall far short because he was so articulate and had such a great voice and
so well read and everything.
Sit there and he'd be reading like War and Peace, like it's in Alaska, so like during the winter it would get, everything would get all dark and everything, and Chris would be like, all right guys, so we're gonna just read you some War and Peace to kind of get you through this time. And he'd sit there and he'd fucking read War and Peace, and I was like, I'll just listen to that. I'd listen to Chris read anything.
He was also the only show in town, so he had like a captive audience.
Right. And there's so many great characters like Maurice, the fucking astronaut.
Maurice was great. Adam Arkin's character is one of my favorites. We talked about that before.
Adam, who was a chef, who
like a world-class chef,
but he didn't wear fucking shoes.
Well, he was like some kind of spy.
Yeah, there's
like he was in hiding up
and
there.
And this was during the Cold War too. You got to remember. So there was a lot of like weird Russia stuff. They also broke the third or fourth or whatever wall. What's it called? The third wall in theater, whatever. Theater geek
talking to the audience.
Shelley's going to tell me. Yeah. So there's this episode where Maurice and this Russian guy are having this chess match, and it ends up like whatever, and they're gonna end up like having like a fucking a duel. They're gonna quick draw duel each other, and they're all there, and then all of a sudden like Maggie is like, wait a second, and she breaks the wall and says like, there's no out of this. We can't get out of this. We can't kill either one of these characters. This is fucking ridiculous. And they break, and it's one of the only times in a like, because they can. So Northern Exposure won in like 1980 whatever, the Golden Globe or Academy Awards or whatever it is, best drama of the year, right? So this was considered a drama because it was an hour long. It was an ongoing story, and at the award ceremony, they were all laughing up there, and they were like, "I think we could probably tell them it's a comedy."
Yeah, it didn't seem like a drama to me.
We're gonna take our trophy anyway.
It's just a really smart comedy. But so yeah, the Northern Exposure, fantastic. totally give. But that's one that you can't stream
No,
to this day. Still can't.
but I'm
stream
going to
it.
get those DVDs, and then after Kyle has a shot at them, we will allow our top 5. Eric Anderson.
We're gonna we'll start our own pirate streaming service.
No, well, I will just send you a sanitized version of them in the mail. Ron
For which
Barron's.
you will pay the
Trying to
higher
think of who
price.
else is our top 5 on the board. Top 5 bands on the board. Shelley, I'm sure she's already watched it.
After Northern
Okay,
Exposure.
1, 2, 3. That's 4, right?
Yep. After Northern Exposure, I have one that we all probably, again, don't really need to talk about. It's The Expanse.
Yeah, but it's so fucking good.
It is so fucking good. And definitely top 5. And, you know, if you're into sci-fi,
Even if
you
you're
haven't
not,
seen The Expanse.
it really
right,
doesn't matter.
That's also true.
Honestly, it is like, it's so universally well written, well acted, well directed. Just everything about the show is just great.
Now they've even got a bigger budget. So
Yeah. And, you know, I think it really says something. We talked a lot about it on a previous episode about how that used to be a sci-fi show and it got canceled. And the fans were fucking Firefly pissed about it. And they, like, really kind of petitioned Amazon to, like, pick it up. So much so that they got a GoFundMe together and they fucking had an airplane flying around the Amazon headquarters.
pulling a banner that said "Save the Expanse."
Save the Expanse, yeah.
And Amazon picked it up.
They fucking picked it up, and it's just, yeah. And they've done a fantastic job with it. They're also, and I know I get a little pretentious with this, but they're super, super good books. And
the science is good and all kinds of shit.
super good. So, yeah. So when we say it's actually it is science fiction, but it's fairly near future, and and there is no there's no warp drive. There's no like
No
faster
transporter
than light
beams.
There's no faster than light travel. Yeah. So everything kind of adheres to the
No
like,
weird aliens,
right.
as far as you know.
Right. But super good. Yeah. Really, really awesome. Awesome characters.
Oh, super awesome characters.
So that's your 5.
You're not that guy.
You didn't stop. I can see your list, motherfucker. You got a few more on there.
Also on my top 5, Friday Night Lights.
I've never heard of it.
This is about it's there was a movie. The series is way better than the movie. It centers around a high school football coach in Texas. And now,
Wow.
yeah, the series is fucking amazing. It's so good. I was like, am I dumb for having this, for thinking so highly of this? So I actually went online, once I finished my list, I went online to just check and see consensus, greatest shows, other lists of great shows and stuff. Most of mine are on there. Most of mine are on other people's great, all-time great lists.
Friday Night Lights. I've never
Friday
even
Night
heard
Lights.
it. What is it on?
I don't even remember what. I don't remember
Is it an
remember what
older
channel it's
series?
on. No, it is. You can stream it on. It might even be on Netflix, but I know you can stream it on Amazon.
Okay.
And
But-
when I say no, I mean I'm reasonably sure.
But is it when did you watch it?
I would say 10 years ago.
Okay, so it was on some kind of regular TV show.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then as I recall, the TV show had an interesting story too. Got canceled, picked back up, stuff like that. But it launched some pretty good acting, or some pretty solid actors' careers. People that you still see and stuff to this day. To this day, it was fucking 10 years ago. But the guy that played Gambit, the X-Man Gambit.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
he there's a lot of good actors, solid writing and stuff. The football scenes were pretty cool, not unrealistic and stupid, which kind of ruins a lot of shit.
I feel
for
like
me.
I may have seen the movie. Who was in the movie? Was it like a
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie
At
very
all?
well. Not really.
But I might be confusing it with Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday was an amazing movie.
Yeah, I never watched it.
With Al Pacino,
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Cameron Diaz.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah. Lots of great actors.
No,
Great show.
didn't see it.
Fun show. Should watch it.
Not gonna watch it.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to put it on your list because we know how long it takes you to get through.
Hey, I watched the fucking Duelist. I liked it.
Right on, which is also on my list, even though it's a movie and not a series. Okay, not really. So Friday Night Lights. One of the things that makes me think about Friday Night Lights is I recently binged the shit out of a show called All American. About a football player from Crenshaw that gets recruited to play in Beverly Hills. And it's loosely based on a true story. Now, it's super popular. It's on Netflix. It is super popular, but it doesn't hold a candle to Friday Night Lights. Could not carry that show's jock. So if you like,
So that was a sports reference. What they were referring to is could not carry somebody's jock strap, which is a device that's used to hold the balls and penis in place while doing a sports activity.
Don't forget to cup the balls. So yeah, if you like All American, check out Friday Night Lights.
All right.
You're welcome.
Not going to do it. It's a little too Rudy for me.
Okay, next. MASH.
MASH.
So if
You have a boner for MASH.
man, it's because MASH might conceivably be the greatest show of all time. It's up there with The Newsroom.
Yeah?
MASH is amazing. No, I feel like some episodes of MASH are kind of dated, but holy
You
shit.
think? It was made in the fucking 70s.
and the show lasted longer than the actual Korean War.
Yeah, it did.
But MASH was hugely popular. If you're our age or older, you probably are very familiar with MASH. If you're younger than us, you probably have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
I don't know if you're younger than us. If you're 30, I don't know if you could watch it. I don't know if it would even make sense. So I was not a huge MASH fan, but I've probably seen 3/4 of the episodes of MASH because you really couldn't help it if you were our age. It was on like every channel all the time. You know, it was like, I think I've seen every fucking episode of Gilligan's Island.
I don't know if I've ever seen a whole episode of Gilligan's Island.
Really? It seemed like it's almost or the Addams Family or.
See, we lived out in the sticks, and we got like two channels, and one of those channels was PBS.
Oh yeah, well, maybe you didn't.
Which allowed me to watch the old Tom Baker Doctor Who's.
Yeah, so I didn't really watch it, but I mean, like, MASH to me is up there or is in the same category of like exposure to me as like the Addams Family and I just said the other one. Oh, Gilligan's Island and the Munsters. You know what I mean? Because that was like, it was kind of like after school, like television. They played these old things. So I saw it. I didn't love MASH that much, but the spinoff Trapper John MD
was pretty fucking good
was
for a
really
spinoff,
really good. Yeah. Yep. I really liked that. So there was a character in MASH named Trapper John, and he different actor, I believe.
Yeah, different actor.
But like same character moved and it was kind of like an ER kind of hospital.
Yeah,
like
Trapper was Alan Alda's character Hawkeye, his like partner in crime.
Right. So yeah, interesting. I did bring my my van to the doctor the other day to get the oil changed, and I was sitting there in the waiting room and I watched an entire episode of MASH and kind of I laughed and it was fun, but
yeah, and one of the great things about it, like a lot of good comedies and
I
stuff,
don't think you could revisit it and watch it though.
I don't know. I haven't really tried. I just remember.
See, that's one of the
remember
things
being so fond of it, but I also remember how fucking good the acting was.
There's some great
because they unleashed him to let him do like a serious, like when they let him do serious acting, and it's like, oh my god, like some of that shit. Like that last episode was a motherfucker.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I don't think I've ever seen the last episode.
Oh my god, talking about killing the chicken and stuff. Oof.
So I think one of the criteria that I am going to use to make my list of 400 episodes is that it holds up, and I don't know that MASH does.
I'm gonna have to take a look. I'm gonna have to.
It might.
I'm gonna have to sit my ass down. Okay. Also on my list of top 5 is Stranger Things.
Yeah. So that's another thing I was wondering, and you had already mentioned The Expanse, which is still going. Is how do you judge a show that's not done? You know what I mean? Because Stranger Things only had, was it? Did it just end it?
Third season?
Third season. Third season, and like they're doing a fourth. So what if they fucking bomb it on the fourth? You know what I mean? Like, so you're like, are we judging it in its entirety?
We'll worry about that on next year's episode of this.
That said, Stranger Things is pretty fucking awesome.
It is, man. It is. It's really fucking tough to beat. And the appeal. I mean,
well, see, the thing is like that. One, I know what you're gonna say is like that. It's like nostalgic.
Oh, for sure. Hard.
So nostalgic.
So
but like my 17-year-old son thinks it's fucking amazing.
Absolutely. My stepson's 15. He fucking thinks that show's the greatest thing ever.
Meta's 6-year-old loves it. So it's like all over the place. It seems like it has extremely broad appeal.
Absolutely.
Also, another thing that I really, really like about Stranger Things is that it has incredibly strong female characters, and they're totally not in your face about it. Like, it's not like, look at the strong female characters that we have. I mean, Winona Ryder's character, for example, is like, a single mom raising 2 kids. One of her kids happens to, fucking be possessed by a demon, the other one. And she's doing her best, and she's getting fucking sexually harassed at work, whatever. And she's a super strong, badass female character and still dealing with all of that stuff. And I thought that was like one of the coolest parts about that show is that it wasn't a fucking tits to the sky woke fucking like dyke character. It was like a
nice.
Just put it out there onto the interwebs. Bigot much lip-tard. It's
sure you hate
she
the word
was
faggot.
she was a I gotta tell you about that in a second. She was a just a normal woman.
Yeah.
That like
A little crazy.
that got a little crazy and got pushed, and then like
and became a fucking hero.
Yep. So speaking about the bigot thing, today, every day now I'm working from home, and today in our staff meeting, we're doing a virtual staff meeting on a whatever it is, Teams or whatever, and we have some serious shit to talk about, but then we kind of just fuck around for a little while, and we're just like goofing around or whatever. And one of my coworkers said something, and she was being kind of vague about it. And I said, "Are you being a faggot?" Now she is. It's Rena, and Rena's wife is Jenna. So who's been on the show a while back. And her the fucking color just drains from her face, and her mouth opens up. She's like. She couldn't even speak, and then my boss says, "What did you say?" And I said, "She's being a faggot, like super vag, like faggot." She goes, "V and F sound a lot alike when you're on Teams." And I was like, it was awesome.
Sounds like nothing.
Then I had to explain what being a faggot was when you're on Facebook, saying like, "Oh, my life is so
vague booking,
bag booking." Don't be a faggot. But I would agree. Stranger Things is it's a really, really, really fucking good one.
Super good show.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one that we probably don't need to talk much about because everybody in the fucking world has seen it anyway.
Yeah, except that okay, go ahead. I saw it already.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which I loved, and coming from a guy who two guys who have spent a humongous amount of time in that universe and loved every word Martin ever put down. Still loved it. Still thought it was great.
Yeah. Did it end great? No.
I fucking liked
But
it.
who cares? Like, it didn't fucking end. Yeah. I mean, it ended. You know, like.
Right. So it's kind of like, okay, here's the analogy. So, I've only had one beer, and I'm going here. So, like, you've been wanting to have this sexual encounter for a really, really long time, and you're finally there, and it's just amazing, and it's the best sex you've ever had in your life, and it's going on, and then it's going on and on and on. I mean, thank you, HBO, for letting us come. I mean, it ended. It wasn't maybe the best ending. It wasn't a money shot.
It was like
but it was
like you had to
still-
pull out.
It was like I couldn't handle it forever. That said, I actually liked everything about it. I don't judge. I kind of like. I don't like go like. Oh, I don't really. I thought it was great. Yeah. I didn't have any problems with it.
No. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened.
But first 4 seasons.
Oh,
was
fuck.
fucking amazing.
This show
Yeah.
is fucking amazing. People are just fucking crybaby.
Now that said, I can't get Meta to even like think about doing it. She's like totally has no desire, and I was like, why? Like I'm telling you, it's really good. I
That's
talked you
weird.
into fucking True Blood. I mean, seriously, like this is way better than that.
Fuck yes, in every way.
Yeah. So, and she has no interest. So I mean, I'm sure I'll win her over.
Sooner or later. The long game.
The long game.
Okay. We've got another one here that maybe not everyone has seen. NYPD Blue. This is another
Again.
one from back in the day. Not everybody likes cop
You
shows
like
either.
cop dramas?
I do.
Huh.
And I especially like the ones like, and I might have talked about this on the show before. So, you got detectives Simone and Sipowicz. Sipowicz is this old school fat.
These were about to expire, Rob. So I'm cleaning them up for you.
This old school fat white cop, and Detective Simone is this tall, handsome Latin gentleman, and like just like the writing is really good. You know, like it's it's funny. I was probably. The little more racist shit. Like the guy that plays Sipowicz does that shitty racist cop really well,
Right.
and he's got a really shitty attitude and stuff. And then,
But he's not the bad guy.
no.
Right.
And then these guys work together
So
for
kind of
long
like
enough.
can kind of like humanize the bigot a little bit.
And then and you get to see like is he an asshole? Yeah, he's an asshole. But like he changes and like these characters like morph and stuff, and he goes from like the character development.
I always like that when you fucking hate somebody and then you end up loving them.
Man, like we just talked about Game of Thrones.
But
That shit's fucking-
Martin's a master at that. Maybe not in the television series. You might not get that as much. You may not have fucking hated Jaime Lannister when that show started out, but you sure do in the books. I mean, you fucking loathe him, and he becomes one of my favorite characters.
Well, and these guys become best friends, and
Interesting.
It's really like
I've never watched
and
it. Didn't it have that redheaded kid in
The
it? Or
warmth.
is that a different?
Yes.
Yeah.
That he was on there for a while. In fact, it started out. I think Simone showed up later. I can't think of that guy's name.
I just remember he was in that stupid Nick Cage movie, and that was he. So I never saw NYPD Blues, but I remember that redheaded
Daniel
kid.
Crusoe.
Yeah, Daniel Crusoe, and he was in that he was in a really stupid Nick Cage movie, and it was the movie that was supposed to be his big breakout after the NYPD Blues, and it just bombed, and he was really bad in it, and they just disappeared because apparently he should have stuck with the fucking. With the
NYPD
series.
Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah, he left the show.
He kind of
And then Simone, Detective Simone, that was Jimmy Smits. he was, which Jimmy Smits is fucking awesome. One of the coolest guys ever.
It's way easier to talk about shows I've seen.
And then Rick Schroeder became Sipowitz's partner. Eventually,
I don't know what Rick Schroeder. It sounds familiar.
Ricky Schroeder. Damn, son.
Something to do about a cat.
Childhood actor. Ricky Schroeder.
Just keep saying it. Say it again, motherfucker.
Ricky
Say it
Schroeder.
again. Yeah, I got nothing.
But okay, fucking weirdo. So yeah, NYPD Blue,
skip
one of my
that
all-time
one.
favorite shows. I did skip one. This time I didn't mean to. The motherfucking X-Files was one of the greatest shows ever.
Okay, yeah.
That's why it belongs in my top 5.
So I'm not going to say it right now, but now that Kyle mentions that, the song I'm going to take you out with today is going to be about the X-Files. I just thought about it. It's a great song. Yeah. Talk about really awesome love stories that are
Man.
like,
How long did they tease that audience?
fucking A. Like,
Just get together already. Fuck.
yep. Yep.
And then every time, like on a lot of shows, when you've got the male and female characters, and you want them to get together so bad.
Oh my God.
And then every time one of them starts dating somebody or
You're just
something,
like, I hate
you're
that
like, who's this
fucking guy."
fucking piece of shit?
In the newsroom too, even that guy. I was always like, who the fuck's that guy? Fucking kill him. Like, monkey. Yeah, man. Dana Scully, Fox Mulder, and also the conspiracy theory kind of whack jobby shit that they did. All that stuff was pretty interesting. I mean, it wasn't, but really it was that love story that kept it going.
Yeah.
There's an episode of the X-Files that scared the fucking shit out of me, though.
Dude, they did some of the, I have my favorite. No, I could do my favorite top 5 X-Files episodes, and it would actually be 5. But which one scared you?
So I remember. So Logan was young enough where I would watch TV that would be completely inappropriate for a child. So 2, so he's he's playing with his toys or whatever. And I was watching. So I was watching this X-Files episode, and it was about this family of hillbillies.
Yes, the episode's name is Mother.
And and these kids, this mom had. It was take. What's that Rob Zombie movie where they fucking peel people's faces off? And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this, wrap it all up into this 1 hour. I was fucking and I don't do well with horror movies. You know what I mean? And this was a fucking horror movie.
Crazy, murderous, inbred, deformed hillbillies.
It was fucking scary. They had to find the babies out. Oh, it was scary.
That's one of my
one of the
favorites,
cool
too.
things I like about some TV series, especially ones like the X-Files, is they're directed by a bunch of different people. So it's not always the same person directing it, which in some ways is good and in some ways is bad, right? If you want to have if you're doing a serial where it's going to be one episode's connected to the next episode's connected to the next episode, it's really good to have that congruity. But if you are doing something like the X-Files where you're kind of jumping all over the place, you can have this because that's kind of a one-off episode. They go and
absolutely.
They get called in to kind of investigate these fucking, and then these monsters, and it's fucking scary.
Yeah, that was
Dude, I have my fucking hair standing up on my arms thinking about that shit.
That's one of their all-time most popular episodes too. That's a lot of people thought that was an amazing episode. That's my favorite.
Kathy Bates directed several episodes of the X-Files. There was a lot of cool guest directors. So I wonder who did that one.
Might be worth checking it out again.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you on that one.
And the X-Files, of course, you can get that Amazon, I believe.
I don't know. I haven't watched it in years and years. I like the movies too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then David Duchovny went on to do one that might make my top 5, Californication.
You know, I never watched that.
I don't want to go.
I mean, I watched a little bit of like an episode, but
I'm just saying it's out there. I don't want to talk too much about it now because I might put it on my top 5 or 25 or whatever. But it's a show I really, really liked. It's a show about a guy that's really hard to like, and you fall in love with him.
yeah, he was like kind of a shit
Just
dad
a
and all
douchebag.
that stuff.
And when I
just,
started watching it, I was like, fuck this guy. But you like, so that's the thing though. It's like
the
it's
whole show is
easy
his redemption
to
arc.
say- well, it's easy to say fuck this guy until you understand this guy. So like, and that's the thing is that it's like that's always the thing that gets me is when you have somebody that you like that does despicable things, but once you kind of understand and you can like be in their shoes, you can understand where those things come from, and then therefore, and it is kind of his redemption arc, though he never really does get redeemed. It's a great show and super fun.
Okay, so there's the X-Files. Also on my list is another cop show called Southland. Now this is probably the most obscure one on my list. I don't think a lot of people watch Southland, and that's a fucking crime because the cast was fucking brilliant. The writing was super good. It was on for a few seasons. So worth the time. It was gritty and grown up, and easy to get attached to the characters.
Huh? What like when where like
modern in Los Angeles.
like how long ago did you see it?
Probably I'm gonna go with my default 10 years.
So it was on regular TV back then.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, it was on TNT. And everybody like everybody on the show went on to other shows.
Huh?
Yeah, like everybody moved on to bigger and better things.
I never even
They
heard
were
of
like
it.
they were basically like a bunch of nobodies, and then the show was super good but short-lived. Like one of the guys went to The Walking Dead. One of the guys became Jim Gordon on Gotham. Another one of the women. It was just in a huge movie recently, and is on The Watchmen. Everybody went on to great, like bigger and better things. It was a great show. If you like cop shows, you've never seen Southland, check it out. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the number of cop shows that you like. The only I've never been into. I mean, I don't know if you consider X-Files a cop show, but
Nah.
Okay, because they were cops ish, But and then The Killing.
I never watched that.
Well, it had the guy who ended up going. He was in season 1 of Altered Carbon.
Oh,
It was that guy, and it was. I
gotcha.
think it was like his debut, and it was that was good. 2 seasons, I think. I think it was 2, maybe it's 3. Same thing. It got canceled, and then Netflix finished it. But it was very about their serial killery. Long like the whole season they'd be tracking a serial killer. But it was good. Yeah, really liked it, but didn't love it, and I don't really care much about cops. I don't listen to like the fucking true crime podcasts either. I just like, I like cops. Troy Shrivers, I love you. How you doing, man? I'm kind of worried about you at the school close. Was wondering what you're doing. But anyway, I don't know why I'm having a conversation with Troy Shrivers right now because he actually can't respond.
You're going stir crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Southland, great cop show if you're into that.
All right. How far much you got left on your list? Because I had to pee pretty quick here.
Not we're almost done.
Well, do we want to finish or do we want to come back?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Fair enough.
I gotta pee that bad, and I don't want to hurry this. So,
Sure.
Since you fuckers have nothing else to do, we may as well stretch this out as long as we can.
Absolutely.
We'll see you in a minute. All right, welcome back to Spitballing. I'm Matt Taylor here with my good buddy,
Kyle Amundsen.
and we are talking about Kyle's favorite top 5 television series of all time, and we're on number 29.
I've just got a few left. For my top 5.
I love it. You're like an overachiever.
I just couldn't narrow it down.
You know what?
man.
I'm gonna have to do like a really long list.
So the next one on my list is one that we've talked about before. Rome. the HBO original Rome.
Yeah, that is a good one. It
So fucking
unfortunately got canceled, or like ended early. You know, they definitely could have gone on. But it was a really, really well done
Super
HBO
well
series.
done.
I also saw that it is available on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It's super good. Yeah. And I think we talked about this before too, but one of the things I really liked about Rome was that it's really hard to do a big historical drama like that. I mean, like super expensive and super hard, and you have these like incredibly like intensive battle scenes, and they do such a good job of like doing it without showing it. You
Yeah.
know, so they keep a fairly limited budget, and they just did a great job of it. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's about Julius Caesar, you know, and
all the things peripheral to his.
yeah,
You know.
he's actually not that huge of a part of it, but very historically accurate though. Like that's it is.
Yeah, and they pull like other like much lesser known figures from history, like Titus Pullo
Yeah.
and Lucius Vorenus, and include them, and of course it kind of centers around. Yeah, it kind of centers around Vorenus.
Yeah,
and Pullo.
it's more about Lucio. Yeah.
And those guys. I mean,
Great.
great buddy movie material type stuff.
Yep.
You know, like that shit's.
We talked about it before, but it's worth mentioning again. My favorite scene in that series is when
Both our favorite scene.
when Titus Pullo is gets condemned to die to death
In the arena.
In the arena, but of course not in the big arena. It's fucking Rome, so they basically it's like fight, and like there's a circle, and they're putting him in there, and he's supposed to. These professional gladiators are gonna like execute him, and he's a badass, so he keeps fucking them all up, and whatever, and yeah, it's.
But he's
great.
taking a wound here
But
and
he's
taking a wound there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them, and he's
And he's a fuck, but he's intensely proud of being, a member of the 13th Legion.
right.
And that whole 13,
Yeah.
and the whole time you're waiting for Lucius Vorenus to like jump in there and fucking like fight next to his buddy and kick ass together, and you're waiting for it, No spoiler.
Yeah, it's a spoiler, but but Lucius is very like reserved and like by the book, and so he's like, whatever. Yeah, it's so good. It's a fucking great one. Yep, very, very good.
Another one that I should probably rewatch. I've watched it a couple of times.
I would think that Dan Carlin would like that. I'm going to call him up and see what he would say.
Do it.
Hope you take my call, man.
Next on the list is another HBO original. Go figure. Deadwood.
Okay, so again, I haven't watched it. I watched a half of the first season, and I think at that time I was with Jables, and she was faded out on it, and then I stopped. Not because I didn't like it, I just stopped. And it's something I've always been meaning to get back to, but then I found out that it got canceled early, and was like, well, fuck it, then I don't want to finish it. But now it's been wrapped up with the movie.
Yes.
So now I can, because I hate it. I hate being left in the middle of a fucking quagmire.
It's terrible. It's awful. I hated the way they left off too, and it took them so long to get that fucking movie together.
Yeah.
But I'm just impressed that they finally, like so many years later, wound up doing it. We got these actors back, Timothy Olyphant and stuff. You got all these fucking actors back to do.
So the main character in that is in a show on fucking Netflix, like the Santa Clarice Diet or some shit.
Yeah,
Have you
Timothy
seen that?
Olyphant. Yeah.
Yeah, is that Timothy Olyphant? And I was watching that, and it's just a throwaway show. It's a comedy, like zombie, show with Drew Barrymore and him in it. I mean, it's cute, but it ain't making the top 300. But I was like, I know that fucking guy. Who the fuck is that guy? And his character is so different, like a million miles different in there. And then it finally occurred to me, I'm like, that's that guy from Deadwood.
I love his character in Deadwood.
Yeah.
But
it was great. Deadwood.
He shows up in some pretty random shit. He was in The Girl Next Door, the movie with the porn star. With that really super hot Alicia Cuthbert, who like disappeared.
I got nothing.
She was in. She played Kiefer Sutherland's daughter in that fucking shitty series that everybody but me
24?
loves. Yeah,
I never watched it.
I tried watching it, couldn't get into it. So yeah. Now there's a couple of I've had a couple of really fucking good comedies on the list, kind of back to back here. Remember, these are in no particular order.
Except for the top 5, right?
No.
Oh, shit.
No order whatsoever.
Oh.
It's just that there's 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
So News Radio. Do you remember
Joe
News
Rogan.
Radio? Yeah.
I know more about News Radio from listening to Joe Rogan than I do about actually watching News Radio.
Oh, man.
I think I've seen like 3 episodes of it in my entire
With
life.
the great Phil Hartman, Andy Dick,
Yep.
Joe Rogan. I mean, such a fucking... that show was funny as hell.
Written and produced by another fucking like crazy comedian who I think it's who's the one who was in trouble. It doesn't matter, but yeah. So no, I know so much about News Radio, but just from listening to Joe Rogan.
It was like the first thing that I ever saw Joe Rogan on. I think it was the first thing anybody ever saw Joe Rogan on. That was
his. He was a stand-up comic at the time, but like he finally like broke in on News Radio, so thank you News Radio for like launching the career of Joe Rogan, because that human being I don't know if I could live without. But I don't. I've never really watched it.
It's pretty fucking good. It's super good. Again, another one that you can't stream though. You can buy it on Amazon, but like each season is $20, except for the first one. The first one it was like, but the first one's like 6 episodes long or something.
$20.
Yeah.
For a season?
It's like $5. No, maybe 15. I think it's 15. It's an old show. But I think you can get the first season.
Free, man. We need to change that public domain thing. I think if it's more than 5 years old, it should be just fucking public domain.
Yes, goddammit. But the first season's like $5. Second season, like $15. Third season, $15.
I mean, even HBO gets that. Like, fuck, you can watch Game of Thrones on Amazon Prime.
Man, some fucking shows. Like, I tried to watch. I tried to stream Castle. Nope, gotta buy those seasons. Fuck you. Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
But News Radio.
Joe, if you have any pull,
great show.
If you have any pull, I'll give him a call later.
Fair enough.
He'll answer.
And 30 Rock. Have you ever watched 30 Rock? Tina Fey's show.
So I love Tina Fey. I loved her so much on Saturday Night Live. So I think I've mentioned this before, but like I loved her scar.
You told me about that.
Yeah. She's had this. She has crazy scar on her face, and I just thought it was so attractive. Like I could not like look away from her when she was on Saturday Night Live.
And that was being attacked as a child.
Yeah, something I think by a dog, right, or something like that, or maybe a predator, or like I don't know the whole story, but anyway, but it was just a really cool, sexy facial scar, and then she got on 30 Rock and got it removed. So fuck that show.
That show's amazing.
I have heard so much good about that show.
Man,
I just have never watched it.
Alec Baldwin, and it's another show like that. Like most of the cast is made up of stand-up comics.
Right. Though Alec Baldwin was never a stand-up comic. Alec Baldwin was never a stand-up comic. No. But I mean, a very comedic actor. Great.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so fucking funny. And that one you can stream. But yeah, 30 Rock was hilarious.
So Tina Fey did the best Sarah Palin of all time. Like, I actually I can't tell you what Sarah Palin looks like. I couldn't pick her out of a fucking lineup.
We talked about this before.
But I could definitely pick Tina Fey, Sarah Palin.
And when I think of Sarah Palin, I think of Lisa Ann, the porn star.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah. Because she was in Nailin' Palin. Right.
Last one on my list. Couldn't pass this one. I mean, I have Battlestar Galactica dog tags. Like, I love that show. So Battlestar Galactica, not the old school one.
So say
Fuck
we
that
all.
one. Indeed, so say we all. Battlestar Galactica was a great science fiction show. Again, didn't quite end.
I didn't hate the way
You
it
know.
ended, but it was a great show. So when I Battlestar, so I watched every episode like when it came out. Like the day it would come out.
It took me a while. I watched the movie length trailer.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I didn't watch. And then I never watched the series because I was like lukewarm to it. Then a couple of years later, I started watching it, and I was like, whoa.
And then you would like binge it.
Yeah.
So I
caught up quickly. Or no, I watched. I think the first season was almost over, and I started watching them in order, and was like, holy shit. And then, like, by the time so I wasn't like years behind. I was like months behind, but I caught the fever because I remember, was it the first season left on that fucking incredible cliffhanger ending, where they were about those guys in the other ship were about to open up on each other.
I don't remember now. Like, it's hard to remember, but I just remember when I watched it, I was like, I think it came out Thursdays, and I'd be like, oh fuck, all night working at the Eclectic Cafe. I just couldn't fucking wait for me to kick everybody out and get everybody out of the fucking door so I could like watch Battlestar Galactica. And I would go down, so I'd close up the Eclectic, I'd go down in the basement, and I would sit down there, and I would sit there with my computer, my laptop computer on my lap, with my headphones on, nobody else there, and I would just sit there and I felt like I took that show in by osmosis. It was such a fucking incredible show. And then I would drive home afterward, which I lived way up in Merrifield, and the whole ride home I'd be processing that show. It was so good. It was so fucking good. And then on the off season, I would just cry every Thursday night. No, it was really good. I only have watched it once though, and I've been intending to go back and revisit it. But I haven't yet. But like I mean, it's not even that old. I mean, it's 12 years or something. Yeah. But I mean, really, really well done. But yeah, I loved it.
Yep. Huge fan.
And that's it. That's your entire.
That is my list,
man. So I'm interested in maybe next week when we get together to share my list with you, because you have some gaping fucking holes in your list.
No.
Oh, fucking miles wide.
Not even close.
We do have some repeats, but yeah, there's definitely some shit that you did not cover.
I'm not going to show up next week. I don't care about your list. That's it, man. If you guys are,
if you guys want to chime in, man, please put, on the comment section. Oh, hey, one thing I did want to say though before we get going is that we're down here at 9th Street Social Club, and obviously these guys have shuttered their doors due to the pandemic, and which is it's the law, but it's also
if you believe in that sort of thing.
If you believe in that sort of thing. But these guys have some T-shirts available online, and they're really cool. They say "Be social." They say "Be social at a distance," and there's like a cool little mask on there or whatever. And you guys can get them. I think they're like $20. Order them online. They're the link is on the Spitballing Facebook page. This is being social was the entirety of the way that these guys were making a living, and it's not really possible to do that right now. So yeah, it's not a charity thing. It's a cool fucking shirt, But I really suggest you go out and get one. We got them, but
get several.
They weren't ready yet, so they should be ready next week. So, yeah, awesome. Well, enjoy your binging all of these incredibly good picks.
Indeed.
You got anything else?
I don't really think I do. No.
All right.
Yeah,
good.
Go home and watch some TV.
All right. Well, I have some homework to do. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the podcast this week. It was really fun talking to Kyle about his list. I can't wait till next week where I can share my top 5 with you. I think it's even longer than Kyle's. So as promised, taking you out this week, I'm going to play a song for you by this band called Skittish. And I've played these guys for you before, but I just love them. And this song is about the X-Files. It's called Be My Dana Scully, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So I've talked before about how it's really frustrating for me because I love all of these bands so much, and then through the years I've just watched many of them, fade away. But I was just on the Skittish website, and apparently they are putting out a new album in 2020. So I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait. If you want to check out these guys' music, it's iamskittish.com. I am and then SKITTISH.com. They're awesome. Check them out. We'll see you guys next week.
Will you be my Dana Scully? So I was thinking about going as Mulder for Halloween. She is strong and she is clever, and she'll stand by me no matter what I say. And, I think you can stand up, be a little less mean. Will you talk about me to your friends? Will you stay up late and giggle and scream? Will you gossip till you can't take it no more? And will you grab a pillow and hug yourself tight against your chest? And will you wish that it was me? You don't seem to notice my wounds. You can be so mean. In case of fire, please break my heart. You can be set free, guilt-free. Will you be my Dana Scully? See, I was gonna go with Mulder for Halloween. Please don't run when things get hard. And I'll try to be a little less mean.